The night skies of Earth were never truly quiet, but on this day something far greater than any storm, any war, or any disaster arrived. People looked up and froze, for the stars themselves seemed to vanish behind a shadow. At first many thought it was an eclipse, but soon the truth became impossible to deny. Above the atmosphere, enormous shapes appeared, sleek and dark, their silhouettes stretching like mountains in the sky. It was not one ship, but hundreds. They hung there in silence, blotting out constellations. Their very presence pressed down on the world. Governments scrambled, militaries moved to alert, and across every screen on Earth, warnings began to flash. This was no meteor shower, no experiment, no accident. The unknown had come. The Empire had arrived. The people of Earth waited, millions gathering in cities, standing on rooftops, roads, and open fields. Every eye turned upward, every nation connected by fear and curiosity. Some cried, some prayed, and others simply held their breath. Then, without warning, a signal cut across the world's networks. Every channel, every device, every screen lit up with the same image. It was the face of a being not human. Tall, crowned with strange golden horns, skin like pale stone, and eyes that glowed cold blue. He spoke in a voice that rumbled like thunder, translated into every language at once. People of Earth, I am Emperor Varric of the Imperial Dominion. You stand before the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. Your world is now part of the Empire. Kneel, obey, and you will be spared. Resist, and your destruction will be complete. The crowd across Earth fell into silence. The Emperor expected screams, panic, and cries for mercy. He expected fear, because every species the Empire had ever conquered bowed instantly, trembling. None had dared oppose them. The Empire's reputation stretched across countless stars, but Earth did not tremble. Instead, something strange happened. In New York, a man standing in Times Square chuckled. In Tokyo, a group of students watching on a large screen began to laugh nervously. In Lagos, a woman covered her mouth but could not hide her grin. Slowly, like sparks catching fire, laughter spread. At first, it was disbelief. The idea that these strange horned beings thought humanity would surrender so easily felt absurd. Then it became boldness. The more people looked at the massive fleet in the sky, the more their fear twisted into something else, amusement. Emperor Varric's eyes narrowed as he watched. He saw humans shaking not with fear, but with laughter. His voice darkened. You dare mock the Empire? Do you not understand the power before you? Do you not see the thousands of warships ready to erase your world? But the laughter only grew louder. In cafes, homes, and city squares, people began to clap, whistle, and cheer. Some imitated the Emperor's booming speech, others mimicked his glowing eyes with glowing phone screens. It was not chaos, it was defiance hidden behind humor. World leaders gathered in hidden bunkers and command centers. They saw the same strange reaction. Some generals worried this mockery would enrage the invaders. Others stayed silent, because deep down, they knew why their people laughed. For decades, humanity had watched the skies, preparing for the day contact came. The Empire believed Earth to be weak and primitive, but they were wrong. Deep under oceans, in deserts, and even on the moon, secret facilities existed, projects hidden from the public eye, technology reverse-engineered from fragments never revealed. Humanity was not powerless. The laughter was not only courage, it was a mask, a weapon. It was the sign of a species that had been underestimated for too long. The Emperor's image flickered, his cold gaze sweeping over the cameras that captured humanity's response. The laughter echoed across continents. It was not the sound of madness. It was the sound of a predator smiling before the fight. Above, the Empire's fleet remained still, their guns and cannons ready, their engines humming like titans waiting to strike. On Earth, silence followed the laughter for a brief moment, a silence so heavy that even the wind seemed to pause. Then, as if on cue, millions of voices erupted together. "We are not afraid," shouted crowds in cities across the world. The words traveled like lightning from country to country, carried by broadcasts, phones, and human voices. Emperor Varric's expression shifted, confusion flickering across his stone-like features. This was not the reaction he had seen on countless conquered worlds. No begging, no surrender, no tears, only laughter and defiance. Inside Earth's underground bunkers, commanders nodded to each other. The people's laughter had bought them time. The world's secret preparations had to remain hidden a little longer. The Empire would never suspect. Above, in orbit, one small satellite shifted its position. Its signal was quiet, but its purpose was clear. Humanity's eyes were on the invaders, but hidden beneath the laughter. The first step of Earth's defense had already begun. The Empire thought they had come to conquer a weak species, but as laughter echoed through the planet, a silent truth grew stronger. Humanity was not weak. They were only waiting for the right moment. And when that moment came, the galaxy itself would remember the day the humans laughed in the face of the Empire. The morning after the fleet's arrival, the world woke to find the alien warships still hanging in the skies. Their shadows stretched across oceans and continents, reminding every human that something vast and dangerous waited above. News channels replayed the Emperor's first broadcast again and again. People whispered of war, of doom, yet the laughter had not faded. It had become a quiet rebellion in every street, deep beneath the mountains of Colorado, inside a fortified command center. Generals and scientists gathered. Screens filled the room, each showing the alien fleet from different angles. Some officers argued for immediate retaliation, but cooler heads warned against it. Humanity's secrets were not yet ready to be revealed. Timing was everything. Then, at precisely noon, the screens flickered again. A signal overpowered every broadcast, every device. The Emperor's face returned, sharper, colder. His glowing eyes burned with fury. The first laughter of Earth had not been forgotten. People of Earth, his voice rolled like thunder. You insult the Empire with your mockery. You think your laughter will protect you. You are mistaken. You stand on the edge of extinction, and only my mercy holds you back. Behind him, the image of his throne room appeared, filled with alien nobles, soldiers, and banners stretching high. They watched, confident their emperor's words would crush human defiance. You will surrender this planet. You will deliver all leaders of your governments to us. You will open your resources, your armies, your skies. Fail to obey, and we will burn this world to ash, Varak declared. His command was absolute. His voice echoed in the hearts of billions. For a moment, silence gripped the earth. The aliens waited for fear, for tears, for humans to kneel before the inevitable. But then, across the cities, the laughter rose again, stronger this time, not nervous, not uncertain, but proud. In London, crowds laughed so loudly that the sound echoed through the streets. In Delhi, families gathered on rooftops, pointing at the screens and grinning. In Sao Paulo, children waved handmade flags painted with bold words, "We will not kneel." The sound of human defiance grew louder with each passing second. Inside his throne, Emperor Varak's cold expression cracked. His jaw tightened. The nobles behind him whispered in confusion. They had never seen such a thing. Worlds trembled when the Empire spoke, but here was a species that dared to laugh. "Enough!" the Emperor roared. His voice surged so strong that windows across Earth rattled. "You believe your mockery is strength. You believe your laughter will save you. Then hear this. I give you one cycle, one Earth day. Submit, or your cities will burn, your rivers will boil, your skies will fall. The Dominion has spoken." The screen went dark. Silence fell once more. This time the laughter was quieter, replaced by murmurs of worry. People knew the threat was real. They had seen the size of the fleet. They had heard the fury in the Emperor's voice. Yet beneath that fear, a spark still burned. Humanity was not ready to kneel. In the command center, General Harris leaned over the glowing table map of Earth, his voice calm but heavy. "We cannot reveal everything yet. Our weapons, our fleet. They must stay hidden until the Empire strikes first. But the people must not lose hope. Their courage is our shield." Beside him, Dr. Elena Ramirez, head of Project Aegis, nodded. Her eyes gleamed with determination. "Let them believe we are laughing at nothing. The Empire does not understand. Our laughter is not madness. It is strategy. It buys us time, and time is all we need." Above, in orbit, the Empire's fleet stirred. Massive cannons aligned toward Earth's surface. Drones swarmed between ships, scanning, measuring, prep. Airing, the countdown to destruction had begun. That night, as the world tried to sleep, strange lights appeared across the skies. Alien drones flew low, casting red beams through cities, scanning humans as if they were insects. Some tried to throw rocks or fire guns at them, but the drones did not retaliate. They only recorded, only studied. It was intimidation, but the intimidation backfired. In Paris, crowds gathered and pointed lasers at the drones, mocking them. In New York, people shouted jokes into the sky. In Cairo, a drone was painted with graffiti by daring youths before it flew back to its fleet. The empire wanted fear, but they found rebellion in every corner. Emperor Varak watched these reports in silence. His advisors begged him to unleash the fleet immediately, but the emperor raised a hand. His pride demanded something else. This insolent laughter could not simply be crushed, it had to be broken. His prey must first understand despair before destruction. On Earth, while people laughed and mocked, in secret bunkers and bases, humanity's true preparations moved faster. Submarines surfaced in hidden locations carrying payloads that had never been revealed. Underground hangars opened, revealing black warships shaped like daggers. Silent satellites shifted orbits, aligning into hidden patterns. The world above laughed, but below the surface, a storm was awakening. At dawn, the emperor would return for his answer, his patience thinning, his pride bleeding. The galaxy believed Earth would bow, but in every hidden chamber, in every secret lab, and in every human heart, one truth remained unshaken. When the empire demanded obedience, humanity answered with laughter. Not because they were fools, not because they were blind, but because they already knew what the empire did not. The storm of mankind was coming, and when it broke, the galaxy would never forget. The sun rose slowly over Earth, casting golden light on cities that had spent the night under the shadow of alien warships. People woke to silence broken only by the hum of the Empire's fleet above. Families gathered around televisions and radios, waiting for the Emperor's return. Fear lingered in the air, but so did something stranger. Laughter still echoed in the streets, softer now, but alive. For the common people, laughter was defiance. For the leaders hidden underground, it was a mask. Only a handful knew the truth behind that mask. Humanity's laughter was not madness. It was strategy. Deep under the Nevada desert, inside a hidden bunker known as Atlas Base, the real secret of Earth unfolded. Dozens of hangars stretched for miles, filled with machines no civilian had ever seen. Warships with black armor sharper than obsidian, drones shaped like hawks, and tanks that looked like beasts of steel. All of it powered by technology reverse-engineered from fragments that had fallen to Earth decades ago. Dr. Elena Ramirez stood at the center of the control chamber. Her hands moved across a glowing console as holograms lit up before her. Images of alien ships captured by secret satellites flickered on the screen. She studied their weaknesses, their shield frequencies, their formation gaps. Beside her, Commander Mason crossed his arms, his voice low. They think we're laughing because we're afraid. They don't know we're laughing because we've already prepared. Elena nodded. The Empire has ruled the stars for centuries. They never expected a backwater planet to rise this far. But humanity's strength has never been in power alone. It has always been in patience, in invention, in unity, born from struggle. Above ground, the Emperor's second broadcast began. His massive face returned to E. Very screen, cold and unyielding. People of Earth, your time is over. Your laughter mocks me, but it cannot save you. Surrender now or face the wrath of the Dominion. Crowds gathered and cities fell silent. Some trembled, but then, as if carried by a single spark, the laughter began again, louder than the day before. Children laughed freely, soldiers laughed defiantly, and elders laughed with pride. The sound rolled across continents like thunder. The Emperor's glowing eyes narrowed. His advisors shifted uneasily. This was not fear. This was not weakness. The humans were hiding something. He could feel it, but his pride refused to admit it aloud. Back in Atlas Base, Elena activated a sequence. A hologram of the Earth appeared, revealing red dots scattered across oceans, mountains, and deserts. Each dot represented a hidden fortress, a launch site, or a fleet concealed beneath camouflage. Humanity's true hand, unseen by the galaxy. Commander Mason whispered, "If the Empire fires first, we respond without hesitation. The people may laugh, but when the time comes, they'll see the storm we've built." Elena's eyes shone with fierce determination. "And when that moment comes, the Empire will understand what laughter really meant. It meant we were never prey. It meant we were predators waiting in silence. Meanwhile, in orbit, the alien fleet grew restless. Captains reported strange readings. Human satellites moved in unusual patterns. Radar signatures disappeared and reappeared like ghosts. But the Emperor dismissed the warnings. His pride was his weakness. He believed no primitive world could hide anything worth fearing. Night fell once again. Cities lit with electric glow. Families huddled close. Soldiers kept their weapons ready. And in the skies above, the Empire prepared its final demand. The countdown to destruction had begun. But in the shadows of the desert, beneath the waves of the oceans, and hidden in the ice of Antarctica, humanity's greatest secret was stirring. Engines purred quietly in hidden hangars. Soldiers climbed into exosuits that gleamed. The final day of the Empire's ultimatum dawned. Above Earth, the alien fleet loomed like a storm of steel and fire. Their ships blocked out the stars. Their cannons glowed faintly, ready to ignite. Cities below held their breath, waiting for the Emperor's next move. At precisely noon, the skies lit with burning red. The Emperor's warships began to move. Engines roared across the heavens, and formations of drones poured down like swarms of locusts. Their shadows swept over oceans and deserts. The first strike had begun. In Times Square, people screamed as beams of crimson energy cut across the horizon. Buildings shook, windows shattered, and the air trembled with sound. But the attack did not hit the city. Instead, the beams slammed into the ocean, boiling water into steam. It was a warning, a display of power. Emperor Varrac's voice thundered across the sky. "This is the fate that awaits you. Submit now, or watch your world burn." But the laughter had not died. Even as people ducked into shelters, voices rose. Some shouted curses at the sky. Others mocked the Emperor's words. In defiance, they laughed louder. It was no longer nervous. It was rage turned into fire. Deep underground, in Atlas Base, alarms blared. Dr. Elena Ramirez and Commander Mason stood at the control chamber as screens lit up with warnings. Dozens of alien beams had fired, but none had struck cities directly. Mason's jaw tightened. "They're toying with us. They think they can scare us into surrender." Elena's hands moved swiftly across her console, bringing up satellite feeds. "Then they'll learn fear can go both ways. It's time to show them Earth is not defenseless." High above, as alien drones dove lower, their sensors swept across the continents. They detected strange energy spikes, but before they could transmit the data, they vanished. Plasma blasts tore through them from nowhere, invisibles. E-guns hidden in mountain ranges revealed themselves, humanity's first counterstrike. In Colorado, hidden artillery batteries rose from the ground like giants of steel. Their barrels glowed with power as they fired beams of blue energy skyward. Dozens of alien drones exploded in fireballs, raining debris down into the forests. Crowds watching on live screens erupted into cheers. For the first time, the Empire felt resistance. Varric leaned forward on his throne, his cold eyes narrowing. "Impossible," he whispered. "Primitive worlds do not build weapons like this." But Earth had. Humanity had hidden its power in plain sight, waiting for this very moment. In orbit, one of the Empire's massive destroyers turned its cannons toward the Rocky Mountains. Fire erupted from its weapons, a storm of plasma screaming toward Earth. For a moment, it seemed the entire range would vanish in fire. Then, the mountain itself moved. Stone split apart as the earth cracked open. From the hidden vault rose a colossal shield, glowing like a wall of light. The plasma struck and shattered into sparks. The mountain stood unharmed. On Earth, people watching live gasped. Some cried, others cheered. The laughter returned, this time thunderous. The Empire had struck first, but humanity had survived. Elena's voice rang across the command center, strong and steady. "Let them come. Every shot they fire makes us stronger. Every strike reveals their weakness." Commander Mason slammed his fist into the table. "Send the signal. It's time." From the depths of the Pacific Ocean, metal titans stirred. Massive warships, black as midnight, rose from beneath the waves. Water poured off their sides as engines roared to life. Their wings extended, their weapons gleamed. The world saw for the first time what had been hidden. Earth had a fleet. News channels broadcasted the rising ships across every natio. Crowds fell silent in awe, then cheers erupted, laughter returned. Humanity was not powerless, humanity had teeth. Above, the Empire's fleet adjusted formation. Alien captains reported human warships rising from the oceans. Varrac's advisors begged him to crush them instantly, to erase them before they could fight. But the Emperor's pride burned. He refused to believe these fragile creatures could harm the Dominion. Let them try, he hissed. Let them fight, and they will learn despair. But as the first human fleet climbed into the sky, something changed. For the first time in centuries, the Empire did not see prey. They saw hunters staring back. The battle began. Human warships fired beams of piercing light that tore through drone formations. Alien cannons thundered, blasting into the skies. Explosions shook the heavens. Earth trembled under the storm. Yet through it all, the laughter of mankind echoed. Soldiers inside their cockpits laughed as they charged into impossible odds. Families in shelters laughed as they heard the roar of Earth's fleet above. The laughter was not madness, it was faith, it was fury, it was humanity's unbroken spirit, and far away in the Emperor's throne room, Varrac clenched his fists. His heart felt something he had not known in centuries. Doubt. The Empire had struck first, but they were not winning easily. The humans had prepared, the humans had resisted, and their laughter, their cursed laughter, refused to die. The storm had begun, and it would not stop until the galaxy itself trembled. The skies burned with fire and light. Alien warships unleashed storms of plasma, while Earth's hidden fleet roared upward from the oceans. Explosions painted the heavens in red and blue. For the first time in living memory, the Empire faced resistance that did not collapse in the first strike. In Atlas Base, Dr. Elena Ramirez stood before a wall of screens. Her voice was steady, though her heart raced. Phase 2 is ready, Commander. It's time to reveal what the ECs. I never believed we had. Commander Mason nodded, his jaw tight with determination. He turned to his officers. Send the order. Deploy Aegis. Across the world, silence broke as hidden launch bays opened in deserts, tundras, and mountains. From each base, sleek black aircraft shot into the sky. Unlike any human machine seen before, their wings shifted like living metal. Their engines roared with power stolen from the stars. These were not ordinary fighters. They were the result of decades of secret work. The first squadron soared into orbit, their armor absorbing alien fire like stone against rain. Then, with a single command, they unleashed beams of concentrated energy. Alien cruisers that had once terrified entire worlds shattered in seconds. One, then two, then three ships exploded in fireballs. The Empire's fleet shook. On Earth, people watching through live broadcasts erupted into cheers. Laughter returned, wild and victorious. Humanity was not only surviving, they were winning. Emperor Varrac watched from his throne room. His eyes narrowed as he saw his proud fleet buckle under attacks from a planet he considered primitive. His advisors trembled, whispering in disbelief, "Their weapons pierce our shields. How is it possible? How can humans do this?" Varrac's hand gripped his throne, his voice a low growl. "Impossible. No world has resisted us for centuries. They cannot win." Yet deep inside, doubt gnawed at him. Back in the Pacific, the colossal human flagship Eternal Resolve rose from beneath the waves. Its hull gleamed black with jagged silver markings, its cannons larger than any seen before. Crowds across Earth gasped as the cameras captured its ascent. It was not just a ship, it was a declaration. Inside the flagship, Admiral Kane stood tall, his voice calm but fierce. For centuries, humanity has been underestimated. Today, we show them who we are. I are the main weapon. A blinding beam shot from the flagship, cutting across the sky. It struck one of the Empire's massive dreadnoughts, a ship the size of a city. The dreadnought's shields flared. The battle raged above Earth. The skies glowed with fire as human warships clashed with the mighty armada of the Empire. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion had been wounded, their dreadnoughts cracked, their cruisers shattered, their commanders shaken. On the flagship Eternal Resolve, Admiral Kane stood tall, his eyes locked on the shifting battlefield. "They're regrouping," he said calmly. "They're not retreating yet. They're angry, desperate, and that makes them dangerous." In Atlas Base, Dr. Elena Ramirez watched the screens with narrowed eyes. Streams of data filled the chamber, revealing strange shifts in the enemy fleet. They're adapting, she whispered. They've changed their shield frequencies. They're learning from our weapons. Commander Mason cursed under his breath. They're fast, but we're faster. Humanity always learns quicker. He turned to the officers, his voice thunderous. Prepare Phase 3. We're not done yet. High above, Emperor Varric leaned forward on his throne, his cold face twisted into something rare for him, unease. He had underestimated this species. Their laughter still echoed in his mind. Now he understood it was not madness. It was confidence. It was warning. Humanity had never been prey. They had been predators in waiting. Send in the Praetorians, Varric commanded. His most elite warships broke formation, sleek black vessels lined with crimson markings, each one a terror that had conquered entire civilizations alone. They descended toward Earth, their cannons glowing with energy strong enough to shatter moons. On Earth, alarms screamed, the screens filled with the sight of the Praetorian fleet entering the atmosphere. The ground shook as their weapons charged, the world held its breath. Then, without hesitation, Admiral Kane raised his hand. Release the Guardians. From the deserts of Nevada, the ice of Antarctica, and the depths of the Pacific, colossal machines rose. Each stood taller than skyscrapers, armored giants forged in secret. They moved like titans across the earth, glowing with power. Crowds gasped as cameras captured them. People laughed through tears, for these machines were not alien. They were human creations, proof that mankind had never been helpless. The Guardians raised their weapons and fired beams that lit the skies. The Praetorian fleet staggered as their shields cracked under the combined assault. For the first time in memory, the Empire's elite ships faltered. Varric rose from his throne in fury. His advisors whispered in fear, "They've built weapons equal to ours. They should not be capable of this. It defies everything." But Earth had done it. Humanity had matched the galaxy's greatest power. Still, the fight was far from won. Alien fire rained upon cities. Guardians fell under the sheer weight of the Praetorians. Human warships exploded in the skies. The price of resistance was heavy. In the command center, Elena gripped the edge of the console, her knuckles white. "We can't hold this forever. If the Empire keeps pressing, we'll break." But Mason shook his head, his voice steady. "No, we adapt. We survive. That's what makes us human. That's what they'll never understand." Above, in the chaos, a single human warship broke through the Empire's lines, a small vessel compared to the giants around it, but inside it carried a prototype weapon. "One last gamble," Admiral Kane's voice rang out across the comms. "All units, hold your ground. Give them no inch. This ship will strike their core." The small vessel dove straight toward the Praetorian command ship, weaving through plasma fire. Laughter echoed inside its cockpit as the pilot, a young captain named Riley, grinned at the impossible odds. "Let's show them what humans do best," he whispered. The weapon charged, glowing brighter than the sun. For a single heartbeat, the galaxy seemed to freeze, then it fired. The blast tore through the Praetorian flagship, splitting it in half. Shockwaves rippled across the Empire's fleet. Commanders screamed, formations broke, and for the first time the Dominion recoiled. On Earth, cheers erupted. People laughed so hard that tears streamed down their faces. The impossible had happened. The Empire's strongest ship had fallen to a single human strike. Varric's fury shook his throne room. His pride shattered. His voice roared like a storm. "This is not possible. They are nothing. They are dust. How can dust defy the Dominion?" But the truth was undeniable. Humanity had turned the tide. The predator had been revealed. The prey had become the hunter. In Atlas Base, Elena looked at Mason, her voice trembling with both exhaustion and triumph. "This is the turning point. They know now. The galaxy knows. Humanity will never kneel." Mason's eyes gleamed, his voice low but fierce. "And this is only the beginning." The skies burned, the fleets clashed, but something deeper had changed forever. The Empire's illusion of invincibility had been broken. Humanity had stood against them and laughed, and in doing so, they had changed the fate of the galaxy. The skies above Earth glowed like fire. Broken ships of the Empire drifted in orbit, their wreckage raining down like burning stars. Human warships still roared upward. Guardians still marched across the ground, and yet the battle had not ended. The Empire was wounded, but not destroyed. In his throne room aboard the colossal command vessel, Emperor Varric stood rigid. His golden crown glowed under the cold light. His eyes burned with rage. For centuries, the Dominion had crushed all resistance. No species had ever brought the Empire to its knees. Until now, until the humans. "Prepare the superweapon," Varric commanded. His voice thundered across the chamber. "If Earth will not kneel, then Earth will burn." Deep in the heart of the flagship, massive reactors stirred. Energy swelled like a sun ready to explode. This was the Empire's final card, a weapon designed to shatter entire planets in one strike. In Atlas Base, alarms screamed as readings flooded in. Elena Ramirez's hands trembled as she read the data. "They're charging something massive. If it fires, Earth is gone." Commander Mason's voice thundered. "Then we cannot wait any longer. Activate Prometheus." For a moment, silence fell in the control room. Prometheus was humanity's most secret weapon, a plan so dangerous it had been buried under layers of secrecy. Now, with no other choice, it was time. Above, in orbit, the Eternal Resolve received the order. Admiral Kane's face was calm, his voice strong. "All ships, form the shield. Buy Prometheus the time it needs. This is where we stand. This is where we prove who we are." Human warships surged forward, forming a living wall. Alien cannons blasted them apart. Ships burned. Lives were lost. But they did not break. They held the line. They laughed even as they fought, their voices echoing across the comms. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, hidden under the frozen wastes of Antarctica, a massive structure began to awaken. The ground split as towers of black steel rose. Energy crackled across its surface. A single beam of light pierced the clouds. This was Prometheus, a weapon built not to destroy worlds, but to change battles. It harnessed the raw power of the Earth itself. As the weapon charged, Elena whispered, "This is our last laugh, our final answer." Above, Varric's superweapon reached full charge. A massive sphere of energy swirled at the center of his flagship. His cold voice echoed, "Behold the wrath of the Empire. Your world ends now." But before he could fire, the sky split open. A roar of energy surged from Antarctica. Prometheus unleashed its power. The beam shot upward, not at a single ship, but into the very heart of the Empire's fleet. It spread like a wave, bending through space, tearing through shields. Over 100 ships collapsed at once, their systems fried, their cannons silenced. Varric staggered as his throne shook. His superweapon flickered, its energy unraveling. His eyes widened for the first time in fear. "What have they done?" he whispered. Humanity had turned the tide completely. The Empire's strongest weapon had been silenced by a planet they thought primitive. Admiral Kane's voice carried across the fleet. "Now fire everything." The Eternal Resolve and every remaining human warship unleashed their weapons. Blinding beams cut across the sky, tearing through the crippled fleet. The Guardians on the ground fired upward, joining the storm. The Empire's command ship groaned as fire ripped through its hull. Explosions tore through its wings. Varric's throne room shook violently. His advisors screamed. But the Emperor stood still, his pride refusing to let him retreat. Through the chaos, Varric glared at the image of Earth on his burning screen. "You are not worthy of victory. You are nothing but animals." And from the flagship Eternal Resolve, Admiral Kane answered, his voice calm but filled with steel. "Animals don't laugh at death, Emperor. Humans do." With one final strike, the command ship exploded. A shockwave rippled across the galaxy. The Emperor of the Dominion was no more. On Earth, cities erupted in cheers, families hugged, children danced, soldiers cried, and everywhere laughter filled the air. The laughter that had begun as defiance now echoed as victory. Elena stood in Atlas Base, her shoulders trembling. "It's over," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. "We did it." Mason's voice was low but proud. "No, Doctor. It's not over. It's only beginning. The galaxy has seen us now. The Empire has fallen, and humanity's voice will echo across the stars." Above, the wreckage of the Dominion fleet drifted in silence. Earth's warships circled proudly, their lights shining like new stars. And in that moment, the galaxy understood the truth. The humans had faced the mighty Empire and laughed. They had fought with fire, with steel, with unbroken spirit. And in the end, they had won. The laughter of mankind had become the roar of victory, and it would never be forgotten.